Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today's video will be about these two guys right here. We are going to have a listen together and maybe rearrange the positioning of the speakers. I have some preliminary feedback to give you as well, and I am going to do that as we listen to the speakers real time. So we're gonna have fun with this one. Are you all ready? Let's get started. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Thank you for being with me here today. If you haven't had a chance to check out my website, jasaudiolab.com, for some interesting high-end audio components, please do so. I always got something going on with regards to amplifiers, preamplifiers, DACs, loudspeakers, you name it, I probably have it. So be sure to check out my website if you have any interest on some fine audio components. So let's get back to the PS Audio FR5s, a speaker that has been here for the last 4 or 5 days. They have approximately 50 hours on them, so I think it is definitely the perfect time to evaluate, to do a preliminary evaluation of the speakers. Now, remember what I said on my previous video. I literally plopped them right where my Magical Q7s were, which I believe is not the right setup, the right position for the speakers. If you check out the manual on the PS Audio website for these particular speakers, you will see that within the setup procedure, they recommend that the speakers be approximately 8 feet apart and 10 feet away from the listener. Now, that's of course a suggestion. That is not gospel. That doesn't mean you have to go by those rules. They are giving you an idea, a ballpark idea of where the speakers should be. Right now, the speakers, I was just listening to the system, they are approximately 10 feet away from me, and I think they are 9 feet apart from each other. So let me check out the measurements. Why don't I just do the measurements and show it to you all? So let me sit down and take some measurements. So let's do the next one. So the speakers are approximately 10.1 and 10.2 feet away. Hopefully you can see it. So that's how far they are. The last two measurements are the speakers, okay? So now let's check the distance from tweeter to tweeter. All right, so here's the distance from tweeter to tweeter, 9.1. Okay, 9.1 feet apart. Now, here's what I'm hearing at this time. I'm hearing a nice sound stage, but I feel as if the speakers are lacking a little bit of intimacy. They don't really surround me with a sound stage that washes over my shoulders. And I think that's due to the fact that they might be too far away from me. So what I'm gonna do is, I wanna bring them about maybe a foot closer to my listening area and then have a listen with them. And then I'm gonna give you my feedback as I listen to them. So, let's get these things moving. All right, it's about a foot more or less. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this particular right channel. Okay. All right, so let me take some measurements again. They are approximately 8.8 feet away from me, so that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Definitely closer, but I want to see if I can actually achieve an equilateral triangle. Let me see. Oof, right, very close. So I can actually open them up a little more and do the same thing with this speaker. Okay. Beautiful. Perfect equilateral triangle, approximately 8.8 feet. Okay, so now let me see the distance to the sidewall here. 3.5 feet to the sidewall. This is about 3 feet to the sidewall, okay? So I'm okay with that, half a foot. Ideally, I should move this a little closer to this side, but I have a door, so we're gonna roll with that. So again, I'm gonna recap. They're approximately 8.8 feet apart, and they're about 8.7 feet away from me. So that's a very nice equilateral triangle. Another thing that I should be doing, which I highly recommend that you all do, is to make sure that they are standing upright, they're not tilted. This is perfect. Use one of these bubble meters, perfect, spot on. So the speakers are perfectly standing upright. They're not tilted to the left or right, or tilted forward or backward. So right now, definitely should be the right opportunity to listen to these speakers now that they're closer. Again, the goal is for the soundstage to wash over my shoulders. I want to feel the soundstage go over my head the way they do with the Magical Q7s. And I am very interested to know what happened now to the bass, because if you remember correctly, these things have a 6x9 passive radiator behind them. Okay, so I want to know, now that they move even further into the room, did I lose some bass? Did I gain some bass? What happened to it? So let's have a listen, guys. Hit the like button if you like this type of content. I got 3 camera angles, as you can see. So hopefully you're enjoying this different feel that I'm giving these videos for you all. Song that you all have heard many, many times.
Just 2 lonely kids in school, right before geometry. My friend Jimmy lost his cool, and he pulled a gun on me.
That planar magnetic tweeter is just gold.
Him and Wanda used to date, but that was over months ago. Though she has been seen with me of late.
Soundstage is definitely better.
We're just a couple friends moving slow. Now all of this I tried to explain, but Jimmy shook with way too much pain. Then he shot himself instead. No one knows yet if he's dead. I wanna talk to the man in the room.
I gotta say, the imaging that stand mounts throw at you is just unbelievable. The pinpoint separation, the way the speaker just gives you this headphone-like effect is really, really delicious in my opinion. It's something that's intoxicating. I do feel that some of the larger loudspeakers may have a harder time with that, and it could be due to the size of my room, of course. It could definitely be due to the fact that my room probably needs to be larger in order to really capitalize on larger transducers. But this is a very, very beautiful pinpoint imaging that I'm getting with these speakers. Let's move to another song with a little more demanding tonal characteristics. Let's see what this one does. The voice of this particular artist, Hans Thiesink, is very bold, very deep. I dare to say raspy. I love it. This is definitely a great track. If you haven't heard this song before, I strongly recommend that you play it. Really good song. The speakers are not even in the room, by the way. They are completely absent. I don't hear them at all. That's a great sign of loudspeaker design and obviously speaker setup. She's right there. I'm hearing, right here, I'm hearing the guitars plucking right there. Not in the middle, but off to the right.
Pine Valley.
Beautiful.
In the middle of the night, 6 strings down, on a heaven-bound flight.
I want to crank it up a little louder, but I want to be careful with the speakers. They are not exactly a big loudspeaker that can take the assault of the Griffin Apex.
Heaven-bound cow, another blue string back home.
A little more.
See the little child holding out his hand.
The speakers definitely low power.
Waiting on you, brother.
I have to say they need to be cranked up.
Welcome to the band. Good blue string, heaven finds a sin. Jesus, Mary, Joseph, been listening to you play. Heaven done called, another blue string back home. Lordy call.
Wow.
Another blue string back home. Lordy call. Another blue string back home.
Very nice sound stage. Actually seems proportionate. To be honest with you, one of the greatest things that I'm noticing at the moment is the fact that the speakers do not create an overly massive size instrumentation. They don't bloat things. They don't make things feel exaggerated. That's what I meant to say. They don't feel exaggerated. That's typically what I hear, by the way, with Magnepans, for example, because they're massive panels. And that's one knock that I have, unfortunately. Again, something that I just hate about Magnepans is the fact that they definitely make you feel as if the instruments are larger than life, right? They sound just inflated. They give you this false identity to the instruments just to make you feel wow, like it sounds larger than life. But in reality, that is not the proper size for a lot of instruments. So these speakers right now, they are giving me this feel that I am listening to the right proportion in terms of the sound that each instrument displays. So that's very interesting. And believe it or not, they are actually sounding very well articulated, better than what I heard them. When I heard them, I couldn't crank them up this loud without getting a slight pop on the woofers. So now I noticed that has kind of gone. I feel like I can crank them up a little louder as well, which wasn't the case within the first 3 to 5 hours, okay? So that could have been the drivers being cold, not loose enough. That's what I meant to say. Now the drivers are probably a lot looser, so they allow you to beat them up a little more. So let's continue, folks. Trying to stay with tracks, folks, that do not get a copyright strike on YouTube. As you know, if I get those strikes, then it just kills me. But here we go. Vocal, you've heard female vocal. Female vocals.
Sometimes I feel I've got you. Run away, I've got you. Get away from the pain you drive into the heart of me. The love we share seems to go nowhere.
See, folks, right here?
And I'm lost.
I get the illusion of the room where she's singing. I get depth in here. When I get the speakers closer and I move them closer to the wall, I lose that effect. I lose that feeling behind the speakers. So if you can get away with it and do it, I absolutely recommend that you try what I'm doing here. There's so much stuff happening here. The piano keystrokes sound beautiful.
Run away, I've got you. Get away, you don't really want any more from me. To make things right, you need someone to hold you tight. And you think love is to pray.
Beautiful.
But I'm sorry, I don't pray that way. Once I ran this tainted love you've given.
I gotta say, the special part, what really captured me when I heard these speakers at Expona 2024, I'm starting to feel that it was this particular tweeter, this planar magnetic tweeter. It is so inviting. It's not like analytical. I know some of you out there are saying they sound bright. I'm gonna be honest here, there's no brightness at all in this room. I have to be mindful of the fact that these speakers are a small stand mount speaker. So they have limitations. I can't really put the pedal to the metal because I could blow them quite easily, right? So I have to be mindful of that. So even with that particular care on my part, I find the speakers just very inviting and capable of sweeping you away, if that makes sense. It's interesting. Let's keep listening. Surprisingly enough, they have really good impact here for their size.
Don't touch me, please, I cannot stand the way you tease. I love you, though you hurt me so. Now I'm going to pack my things and go.
So now that we've heard male vocals, we've heard female vocals, I think it's time to stress the speakers a little bit. Now, the goal here is not to blow them. That's not the intent here. I just do not want to go above and beyond their boundaries. So we're gonna play a more complex track that has a lot more going on, including bass. That is my biggest fear right now at the moment. So let's see if the speakers begin to pop with this volume level. I am going to say, based on my own knowledge and how loud I listen to music, I think the speakers are approximately 78 to 79 decibels, average volume levels. Okay, so let's see how they can handle a more complex track with more impact in drums. Hopefully you all are hitting that like button and showing me that love and support that you like this type of content. 3 camera angles for you. So I went all out to give you a different feel for this type of content. Support, show me that love. Surprisingly nice thump. Wow. Zero, I hear no resonance on the cabinet. I hear nothing vibrating, which obviously would be concerning, but I haven't heard anything like that. Yeah, the sound stage is way deeper now. Now that I move them closer to me, there's so much more layering happening. Here we go. Pretty good so far. I hear no compression or the speakers bottoming out. This is not outrageously loud, but as I mentioned earlier, it is approximately 78 to 79 decibels. If you have a sound decibel meter, you can download it on your phone, the application if you have an iPhone, and listen to your system and see what kind of loudness do you typically play at. Comment below. Tell me what DB do you use when you listen to your system. I'm curious to know what you guys are doing at home, so give me your comments below. That's beautiful right there. Here's one thing that I will say, which is interesting. I do feel as if stand mount speakers or bookshelf speakers, however you want to call them, they have this ability to give you perhaps some nuance when it comes to the soundstage and the actual space as far as like what's happening. Here's what I mean by that. There's a part of this song that I know quite well that I, quite frankly, thought was happening all throughout this part of the soundstage. But right now, as I listen to these speakers closer to me, I realized that there were some transitions that were occurring right from the center to the right speaker and back to the center, never going to the left, right? But I never really I actually feel like I've never heard that before. So there are some things that smaller, I wouldn't call them monitors, but you know what I'm saying, they do provide these extra things that are easier to make out than perhaps the larger speakers. I don't know, that's like, I'm just sharing with you what I'm hearing, okay? And I'm going off the cuff. I'm not editing anything. I'm just giving you what I'm feeling to see if you guys feel the same way when it comes to a smaller loudspeaker. Comment below and let me know what you guys think about this. Here's another good song. And final song, I must say. Hit the like button, folks. Thank you for that support. Doing a lot more for you all.
Because you're mine.
The center image is just beautiful, right in the middle. Not diffused, very pinpoint.
You better stop the things you do. I tell you, I ain't lying.
Clarity is pretty good, I can't complain.
I ain't lying. You know I can't stand it. You're running around. You know better.
Very, very nicely balanced. Of course, it lacks all the impact I'm used to, but that's expected for a speaker of this size. Trying to come up with words to describe what I'm hearing, but I'm just getting sucked into the music at the moment, so excuse me for that.
You know I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you anyhow. And I don't care if you don't want me. I'm yours right now. Put a spell on you. Because you're mine.
It's hard to transition from listening to music with a speaker that is definitely doing some interesting things over to articulating what I'm hearing in within the first 50 hours, the breaking time being approximately 50 hours for this particular loudspeaker. And I have to tell you, first of all, it's opened up a little, definitely more than when I first threw them into the room. Two reasons why. Number one, as I mentioned to you, it has more hours on it. The speakers now are getting looser. The drivers are getting looser. Secondly, I got them closer to me, about a foot, about 12 to 15 inches closer. So that definitely helped give you the illusion of a larger soundstage. However, you know, I will say they do have their limitations, okay? And it's expected, okay? It's physics, okay? It's not a big speaker. This is why they sell the larger PS audio speakers, the FR30s and such, to give those of you who are looking for more bass, more muscle, more bottom end, lower octaves, another option, the right option for you. But if I'm just focusing on this speaker for what it is, for the size, and obviously the price point, I mean, I think it does pretty good. I mean, that passive radiator in the back, I think it's adding, it enhances, it supplements the bass quite nice. I'm not sure that this particular speaker here would, in fact, work as well as it does right now. A brand new breed of stand mount loudspeakers that are doing some outstanding things. It started for me maybe in 2022 at the Florida audio show with the TAD stand mount speakers that were absolutely mind-boggling. I was blown away by the soundstage, by the bass that speaker threw, by a lot of things that speaker really brings to the table. Once I heard that loudspeaker, I realized, wait a minute, are we onto something here? Should I be listening to other propositions that are stand mount speakers? And then so soon after that, I met, obviously a couple of the Borison, I believe it was the M1s, I want to say I listened to, or was it the Borison Silver Supreme, the 01 series maybe, I think it was, the 01 SSE, yes. Once I heard that, same effect, massive soundstage, really just great bottom end. There was so much to like about that speaker, okay? And that's when I started to really take an interest on the smaller propositions like these speakers. This is one of the reasons that I was very, very intrigued by this FR5, because I wanted to hear if perhaps it was impossible to bring all that performance into the same size loudspeaker, arguably smaller actually probably than the Borison 01s, but far cheaper than the TADs and those 01 Silver Supreme Edition speakers, okay? Far cheaper. So I was wondering, maybe this is where that train of thought, maybe that's when all of these ideas that you can make a small speaker sound this big completely fall apart because of the price point, right? And let me tell you, I'm still wrong. I'm very wrong, okay? This speaker, even for $3,500, it's really doing some interesting things. However, let's not overlook at the massive investment that I have between these loudspeakers, right? The incredible, incredible investment when it comes to my Griffin Apex monos, of course the Commander, the CH Precision DAC, and the MIT cables. All of that has to be factored in. I know many of you have asked me, Jay, please insert a more affordable integrated amp and preamp. I just don't want to do that because I want to hear what's possible through these speakers, right? And if I start to water down the performance, the quality of the watts, then I'm going to start blaming it on the speakers. So I'm just speaking to you at a very, very high level, and I'm giving you feedback, preliminary feedback again, on these speakers with Cost No Object Electronics. I'm telling you what I'm hearing, which you should take notes and understand that I'm giving you data points for you to say, Jay did say they provided a very nice soundstage. They have great imaging. They have this, they have that. They have it. Now it's your job to go find it within the speaker, to extract it out of the speaker. That's not my job, that's your job, right? My only job here is to give you my opinion, unbiased opinions on these speakers. Now, this is not the formal review. I'm still listening to them. I may even get in slightly closer to me to see if I could do a little more of an actual near field type of sound. I don't know, okay? But when that formal review comes out, the speakers will have at least 100 hours on them. I understand some of you might say they need 200, but I don't have 200, 300 hours, okay? Because I do have a YouTube channel and you all get bored. So 300 hours may take me through the end of the year. I can't have something playing here for 300 hours because it stalls other things that I have going on in my channel. So I'm gonna give them 100 hours, and then bring out the real formal review, unbiased review with pros and cons, because they do have cons, and I haven't spoken about them yet. They do have negatives, okay? And I'll leave those for the formal review, all right? If you like this type of content, also, I'll ask again, I want to know from you what average volume levels, what decibel levels do you listen at? I primarily stay around 78 to 80, occasionally 82, depending on how I'm feeling. What about you all? Comment below. Thank you for that support, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.